quick and easy spaghetti night doesn't always mean it's coming out of a jar, and I'm going to show you how. So one of my favorite things to cook on a weekend is marinara sauce. And I'll usually make big batches so that I can separate it into containers, put it in the freezer, and take it out on the weeknight to have a quick and easy dinner. But I am the worst at remembering to take food out of the freezer and thawing it out. I can't tell you how many times I've had to go to the grocery store and buy food again because I forgot to take it out of the freezer the night before to thaw it out. And growing up in an Italian family, as much as I want to take a jar of ragu and just heat it up and serve it to the kids, I can hear my mom screaming at me that I can do better. So this marinara comes together in about 20 to 30 minutes. You can probably get away with this being done in about 20 minutes. And about the time that it takes to get a pot boiled and your noodles cooked, your marinara will be ready, and it's going to taste head and shoulders above any off-the-shelf marinara that you can get. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is make sure our tomato base is nice and smooth. I'm using this attachment I found off of Amazon for my KitchenAid that grinds meat and strains vegetables to smooth out my sauce. I'll leave a link down below if you're interested. So we're going to be using a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. You can use any brand, but I'm partial to Cento or any brand using Italian tomatoes. To me, it just has a better flavor. It could just be in my head. And if your contraption happens to leave you little surprises like mine does, just make sure you're ready for it. Since we're straining, you can use crushed tomatoes or whole, and you should get the same results, so feel free to experiment. Next, we're going to dice a half of a yellow onion. You'll want to pull off the outer layer, then make a couple slices horizontally into the onion. Then cut about 1 centimeter thick slices across the onion, then thinly slice to have a nice chopped onion. Put everything into a small container and set aside. Next up is your garlic. Lightly smash a couple cloves to release the flavor, then chop it as finely as possible. I'm not a stickler on how finely it's chopped, but the more time you spend on it, the more it'll just melt into your marinara. Once that's done, set aside. Now, of course, you can use dried spices for this marinara and it'll taste just fine, but I like to use fresh oregano and basil for this quick marinara. Pull your basil leaves off the stem, then roll them all up. This will make slicing them nice and uniform. I wouldn't say this makes or breaks the recipe, but it definitely looks fancy. Lastly, we're just going to finely chop up the oregano, and then it's time to put it all together. In a pan over medium heat, add about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, along with our onions, garlic, and some fresh thyme. After about 5 minutes of sweating down your onions, you can remove the thyme. We're just adding in some flavor. Now we're pouring in our sauce, then seasoning with about 1 teaspoon of salt. Add in your fresh basil and oregano and let it simmer. We'll add in about a pinch of sugar to offset the acidity, and then let it simmer for about 20 minutes, stirring occasionally. Now while the marinara is simmering, we're going to go ahead and bring a pot of water with a heaping amount of salt to boil. Add in your favorite pasta and cook until al dente. But be sure to save about a 1/4 cup of pasta water. We're going to use that for later. Now the best way to serve pasta in my opinion is with a little bit of marinara already mixed into it. This will keep it from getting too sticky as it cools. Now we're going to take that pasta water that we set aside and then stir it into the sauce. This will add some starch to your sauce and it really helps it stick to your pasta. Last thing we need to do is just grate some fresh Parmesan cheese and enjoy. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought my mother had been slaving away over the stove all day to make this. I mean, I still enjoy doing the Sunday 8-hour marinara sauce, but I mean, if you want to do something quick on a weekday that only takes like 20 to 30 minutes, you got to go with this. You taste that fresh basil and oregano. It's vibrant. It's got so much flavor.
It's not noodles.
Is that noodles? You want to try some? What do you think? That thumbs up? All right, you can go. All right, that's it for this recipe. I hope you enjoyed it. If you tried it, please let me know in the comments, and be sure to leave a like. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications, and we'll see you in the next video.